2024 northern summer saw the highest global temperatures ever recorded, beating last year's record and making this year likely to be the Earth's hottest ever. The data from the Copernicus Climate Change Service followed a season of heat waves around the world that scientists said were intensified by human-driven climate change. The June and August global temperature broke through the level of 1.5 centigrade above the pre-industrial average, a key threshold for limiting the worst effects of climate change. Human-caused greenhouse gas emissions are warming the planet, raising the likelihood and intensity of climate disasters such as droughts, fires and floods. And for more, we have Amit Mukherjee joining us from New Delhi on this. Well, Amit, the periods of extreme heat are becoming more common, with it affecting billions of people around the world. And above all, this EU climate monitor declared the year 2024 the hottest ever. What's your take?
Well, the situation is really alarming, Lipakshi, because, in the last 14 months, 13 times the average temperature had exceeded the limit. In fact, the worldwide environmentalist had actually put the figure to be 1.5 degrees Celsius. That should be the average rise in temperature. But we have seen in the last 14 months, this particular level has been broken almost 13 times, which is now having a cascading effect on the entire environment. It's not only the heat which we are observing, which we have observed in the last summer. In fact, temperatures had hit the roof in most parts of the world, and it is also altering the rainfall patterns. Also, it's altering food security issues because a lot of insects are actually are perishing because of this high temperature, as a result of which pollination is not happening, and a lot of crop species are actually being wiped out. Now, again, coming back to the high temperature thing, I mean, there has been a widespread, incidence of, in fact, the incidence of wildfire, the forest fires have risen many a times. Places which have not seen rainfall for many years have been witnessing floods, and
right.
Also places which have been having a substantial amount of rainfall are now witnessing drought. In fact, some of African countries are facing intense weather conditions, and it is also leading a lot of. I mean, it's a huge. It's actually $500 billion. It's costing the world economy, to overcome these kind of situations. And in fact, even in the last COP28 summit, where the world 200 member nations had actually gathered to discuss the ways to kind of combat this climate change, nothing substantial has come up on the ground,
right.
Although a lot of things were discussed. And going forward, in fact, we are walking on thin ice as of now, and it would be too late to save the environment if we go at this pace. So the green gas emissions need to it has to be curtailed, and we have seen a lot of increased activities by the global north, which are the developed countries. They have been indulging in a lot of industrial activities again. Energy securities by burning fossil fuels, which are actually adding a lot of negative impact to the environment, and it is really an alarming situation. Lipakshi?
Right, Amit, as you rightly said, we are walking on thin ice, and weather-related erratic events from typhoons to wildfires, droughts at some places, floods at others are being seen all over. Climate change at its peak right now. What role does climate change play in the increasing frequency and intensity of extreme weather events?
Well, you see, I mean, a simple thing that is happening, with increased temperature, the ice caps across the world are melting really fast, which is again increasing the sea level, and again threatening people living along the coastal region of the world. Also, because of these high temperatures, the rainfall patterns are changing, which is leading to crop failure. And in fact, overall, that is also leading to a lot of, adaptations require a lot of money, and which is why governments are also spending a lot of money, which actually, if people stick to the prescribed norms, they start respecting the environment, those things can also be kind of curtailed in a big way. As of now, I mean, it is strictly imperative that all these measures which were discussed in the last meeting of those 200 nations in that COP28, those need to be implemented. The deadline is 2030. And unless and until we start implementing right now, in fact, we should have started implementing all these things yesterday. So, I mean, it is going to lead to, in fact, human extinction going down the line, if I'm saying the least, to say the least, in fact. Lipakshi?
Right, Amit. Thank you for all those details right now.